will now call to order this meeting of the CRA of West Palm Beach, July 7th, 2025. The time is 4 p.m. We'll begin with comments from the public. We do have one card. Will Davis.
Greetings, Mayor, Commissioner, Chris, and West Palm Beach. With Northwood Village, the nights that we had just a few weeks ago, it was awesome. It was great. I'm sad that it was the last one that we were able to have. I'm just hoping that between the CRA, the city, us, the merchants, we can work in some capacity to continue in some form of having it, because as every time we've had one of these events, people come into the village, they find out it's the first time they've ever been here, the first time they're seeing things, and even people who have not been in a while, they look at the skyline that is drastically changing for the better, and they get to see how, with the spruce, this could be their new place to live and experience the village for what it is. So I'm just hoping that we can work in capacity to having it continue, and hopefully we get a clear answer to an update of when we can have Broadway reopen, because it continues to be a struggle for us, the merchants, as well as the visitors, to come into the village to see what can be done, because it's going on now almost 8 months for a 3-month time that was supposed to be allocated for it to be closed for them to do the work. So I'm just hoping we're closer to that point. So thank you.
Thank you. We will have someone get back to you, Mr. Davis, with the proposed timing for the reopening of Broadway. Now turn to the dais for comments. Commissioner Baduzzi.
No comments, Mayor.
Commissioner Ward.
No comments, Mayor.
Commissioner Warren.
I'd just like to congratulate the CRA, the city, and the historic Northwest neighborhood on amazing events that we've seen. Barbecue Brews and Blues is continuing to grow and was a huge success with families and children that participated in that event. It's wonderful to see that the city is able to create a space where people feel safe and can enjoy themselves and come together and support our local businesses.
Thank you. I don't have any comments at this time. All right, Mr. Root, were there any additions, deletions, reorganization of the agenda?
No, Mayor.
All right, we'll now turn to item 6.1, presentation of proposals received for notice of disposition issued April 20th, 2025 for affordable housing for properties located at 401 Division Avenue, 639 4th Street, 631 6th Street, and 519 LA Kirksey.
Hello, Board Chair and Board members. My name is Jade Green, Deputy Director with the CRA. I'm here to just provide a quick presentation for you guys about the notice of disposition we put out on April 20th for all 4 properties that are listed. We'll do a quick overview of where all of these are located, the disposition process we completed, the proposals we received, and what they proposed in those proposals, how the CRA kind of did an evaluation, and to open the floor for any feedback from the board and any questions that you may have. All right, these are all 4 properties, 401 Division on your top left, 639 4th at the right, 519 LA Kirksey in Pleasant City on the bottom left, and then 631 6th Street on the bottom right. These are all empty lots, vacant land that hasn't been occupied probably since the early 2000s, some in the 2010s. Not occupied, but purchased in those times by the CRA. A quick aerial shot of where they're located. You got 401 on Division and 3rd, 639 4th Street at Sapodilla and 4th, 631 6th Street at Sapodilla and 6th, just off the corner, and then 519 LA Kirksey between LA Kirksey and Spruce. We put the notice of disposition out on April 20th. We submitted it through the Palm Beach Post, our website, the CRA newsletter. We notified at both the Historic Northwest and Pleasant City Community Meeting all of interested builders that have reached out to us previously and advised that this notice was for affordable housing. When the notice closed on May 20th, we received 6 proposals. The CRA did have some additional questions that we wanted to extend out to the proposers that we gave them all the opportunity to respond to on June 13th, and then they had the opportunity to respond by June 16th at 5 p.m. We received 6 from Habitat for Humanity, Elite Design and Construction LLC, Atlantic Construction Engineers, Action Construction Group, Roche Equities, and the Simmons and Reed family. As the CRA was evaluating these proposals, we were looking at the AMI they were targeting, purchase price, their past experience in development, their financial capacity, what type of house they're proposing, their process in finding a buyer, their construction timeline, and if they were local or where they were located within Florida or beyond. Our first proposer submitted for all 4 properties. You have Habitat for Humanity. They have over 39 years experience and previous experience developing with the CRA. They proposed 2, 3, and 4 bedroom homes with 2.5 or 1 bath. They do have their own selection process for buyers and also have a sweat equity program where they include the buyer in the building process. They are proposing 18 months construction with a lot award. The 3 homes in the Historic Northwest, they're proposing at a price point of $343,000, targeting that 80% to 100 to 120% AMI. And then they have the 1 home in Pleasant City at 519 Ellie Kirksey for $280,000, targeting that 80% to 100% AMI. Habitat did show that they have the financial capacity, detailing a $2 million line of credit with a 0 balance. And on your right is some of the renderings that they provided for the houses that they would build in each location. Elite Design and Construction, they did not detail their experience. They did propose a single-family home, 2 bedrooms, some with dens or what looked like in their proposal an ADU. They are open to partnering with the first-time home buyer programs or any other assistance within the city and beyond. They propose to develop the properties within 1 year. Price point for the homes were $435 to $475, and they detailed at 100% AMI. They provided, as far as financial capacity, a reference letter from Citibank of financing. And again, they submitted for all 4 properties as well. We then have Atlantic Construction, who also submitted for all 4 properties. On the right there is their floor plan and elevation, not necessarily a rendering, but an elevation. They detailed that they have decades of experience in construction and engineering and provided some references within their proposal as well. For the 519 Ellie Kirksey, they proposed a 4-unit, as I described, duplex or 2-story single-family 5-bedroom home. And all the properties in the Historic Northwest, they detailed as a single-family 3-bedroom home. They advised in finding a buyer, they would use a list of pre-qualified affordable housing buyers to prioritize access to income-eligible families. Construction timeline of 2 years. They stated they'll target 80% AMI. The single-family home price point is $650,000 to $750,000, with the duplex being priced at $350,000 to $450,000. And they anticipate working with a financing institution for lending as far as financial capacity. Action Construction's proposal, again for all 4 properties. 2 pictures on the right of some previous work they've done and what they intend to do with the sites. They're founded in 2017 and have previously built some affordable housing projects and high-end and budget-conscious projects. 4 to 5 bedroom single-family homes at all the properties. They have their own realtor that they will use to find potential buyers. They proposed 22 months of construction, price point of $460,000, and they do plan to finance with a lender noted as Lending One. Rosh Equities only submitted for 639 4th Street. Picture on the right of the type of home that they're proposing. They have previous experience providing units for the U.S. Department for Housing and Urban Development. They are proposing a duplex of 2 units with 3-bedroom, 1 bath each. They did not detail their process for identifying a buyer. They have a proposed construction timeline of 20 to 22 months. The price of homes were not detailed. The proposer has a goal to rent at $2,785 a month, targeting 100% AMI. The proposer also provided a pre-approval of $1.6 million in construction financing. Our last proposer who submitted for 401 division only is the Simmons and Reed family. The Simmons and Reed family provided a letter of intent to build and provided a brief historical perspective of why the family's interested in building on the lot. The family noted that they previously owned the home that is now known as 401 Division, but it was previously had the address of 801 3rd Street. And the family's interested in getting the lot back and building what they have stated is their original home on the lot. They did not provide any details of what type of home, just that they wanted to mimic what was previously done. Construction timeline unknown, price, and financial capacity. I would also like to note that the CRA would have to do a historical dig to see really if the property was at 801 3rd Street previously to 401 Division, for sure. But this is the proposal this family provided. And that is all the proposals. The CRA is open to any feedback and questions from the board. We just wanted to give you guys the opportunity before coming back to you in August with a resolution to negotiate terms with the chosen, I would say, proposer out of this notice of disposition. So I'm open to take any questions or feedback from the board.
So you're not making any kind of recommendation now, you're just presenting to us what you received?
Well, yes, Mayor, and based on the criteria, the proposer that met the criteria is Habitat for Humanity. So we would bring back 4 proposals, or 4 resolutions for each lot that would authorize staff to begin negotiations with Habitat for Humanity. And we would bring those resolutions back at the August meeting.
Okay, any reason why you didn't do it?
We wanted to give the board opportunity to have feedback on all the proposals since we did receive 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we have a couple of questions. Commissioner Peduzzi, then Commissioner Ward and Commissioner Warren.
Thank you. I just have 2 preliminary questions. I assume that Habitat for Humanity is the only not-for-profit of this group?
Yes.
Would that be correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then the other thing would be, are we offering these properties free of charge to the proposers?
That would be when we negotiate terms. That's not what was disposed of. That's where we would come to the board next to negotiate terms with whoever proposed.
Commissioner Warren.
Thank you, Mayor. It's exciting that so many different people responded to this. It's encouraging. I'm happy to see that there's a variety of responders, some that we've done business with historically, some that would be new, different size and scale of each of these organizations. This is very, very good. I do really like the idea of a family that has once owned a property to have the opportunity to rebuild and do something that would be a legacy for them. So that is something that I think is a good consideration. I am leaning, though, towards Habitat for Humanity. We know the track record of Habitat. We've worked with Habitat. We have seen spokespeople from Habitat that have come here and gone to Tallahassee. We've seen those same representatives be a part of many community initiatives, be advocates for the community. I think that this is really what we want to see more of, people that will be able to have an opportunity in our historic Northwest and contribute significantly to what the direction that we want to see the community continue to move towards. And I'm also aware of some different programs that Habitat has in our neighborhood where they support seniors and are funding some rehabilitation. I'd love for us to have more information on some of that as well. I think it's important. And then I have some other ideas, but I'll allow my colleagues to weigh in on this. But this is very exciting. Again, great job.
Commissioner Ward?
I agree. It's great to look at a bunch of different applications, and I appreciate you bringing it to us. I think that Habitat is the clear, best applicant from what you presented. But to Commissioner Warren's point as well, and we've talked previously about, okay, we're trying to incentivize people to be in the area and maybe stay in the area. Maybe we've already lost residents who, just due to circumstances, whether it was safety or financial, that had to leave the area. And so it is an interesting concept to try to maybe partner with one of them and maybe work with Habitat and see if there's a way to do both.
Yeah.
With that one property, because again, we go back to there are children from this area and adults from this area who left for whatever reason, and it's great to see that they actually want to come back. It means we're on the right track, and so maybe we lean into that in some regard. We have Dr. Wynn to maybe potentially look in the background to see if what they're saying is true. But it's very interesting that they do want to come back, and I think it's worth us to at least look into that.
Absolutely. As Commissioner Ward was talking, that's a literal thought I had in my head of potentially, connecting the family with Habitat if Habitat does choose to move forward, next month. So I think that would be a wonderful idea.
Talk a little bit more about the fact that only Habitat really abided by the request to provide affordable housing. I mean, some of the other proposals, they listed percentage of AMI, but when you look at their prices, it seemed to be grossly outside of that. So how did they, are we working from the same definition of affordable housing, 80 to 100%
Yes,
AMI?
and it's defined too with the county. And when these proposers, they would call and ask questions, we definitely kind of laid out where they could find all that information at and everything. And that's why we gave them the opportunity at June 13th, when we sent them the questions on June 13th, we gave them a list again to give them another opportunity to respond to thoroughly to make sure that they were kind of touching on those points. And they gave the answers that they gave for sure, but we definitely provided the resources to them to go find where that could be.
All right, Commissioner Warren, you said you had some other comments?
I do. Thank you very much, Mayor. Habitat has expressed an interest in doing some multifamily property, but they really had very limited experience with that. And I was thinking, Mayor, or Chair of this body, is there a way that we could, when we have an organization like this, perhaps work with a public-private nonprofit and see if there's a way to do some type of mentoring program with an organization like that with some of our existing developers that have built multifamily structures to perhaps provide some guidance for them? Because I think it's beneficial to the community to have an organization like Habitat be able to create multifamily dwellings, especially looking at the current cost points of living in building and in this point in time.
So the question is, can we offer any kind of mentoring opportunities? I suppose, Mr. Rue, do you want to weigh in on that? I don't know how big of a demand there is for that, but
mentoring in the sense of helping folks understand how to create more housing on these vacant lots. I mean, we could reach out to some of our partners if we have maybe constituents that are, I mean, I would just need a little more information, and then we can look into maybe making that connection. I think that that's something that we can do. As far as creating sort of a formal program, I'm not sure that that's something we can pursue, but we could definitely make the connection between organizations.
And that is what I'm looking for, how we could help facilitate, particularly a nonprofit like this one, with some of the relationships that we have, which I think are leaps and bounds ahead of many other communities, to be able to connect some of our developers with people like this that would be interested in doing something on a smaller scale that would be reaching out to people that really need it the most.
Absolutely.
Pardon me, I would also say other Habitat for Humanities in other cities as well. Just living in Tampa for 8 years, they have the opportunity to partner with them too internally, because they definitely do multifamily housing. So we can try to make that connection too, and especially with our CRA in Tampa.
Commissioner Baduzzi.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I went on record that my preference would be strongly for Habitat for Humanity, with an exception possibly to if you could come up with something that would be beneficial maybe with this family that is looking to do something, but they've put so little in their proposal that I don't know how comfortable I would be with, putting too much city or CRA, assets or resources into something, especially without having a really strong plan other than donating maybe the lot. So Habitat for Humanity, and if there's something you can come up with, that would be my preference with the other one.
Thank you.
Any other questions, comments at this time? You're not really looking for a decision. This is just for our information.
Nope, I think we got pretty good feedback to move forward.
Okay. All right, thank you. We'll now turn to consent calendar, items 7.1 and 7.2. Directors, any questions, comments on consent calendar? Hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move approval of the consent calendar.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. All those opposed, like sign. Hearing no opposition, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. And that is the last item on the CRA agenda. We will reconvene as a city commission at 5 p.m. This meeting is adjourned.